Good morning to all participants in this seminar. My name is Ana Paz, and I work at the National Research Institute for Agronomy in Portugal. And I was one of the participants in the focus group on soil salinization, and I will briefly present you here the results of this focus group. So, as you probably know, soil salinization can be one of the most severe forms of soil degradation, and salt-affected soils are increasing worldwide. And this is not only due to farming practices that are unable to prevent this, but also due to climate change. So, the focus group discussed around the main question of how to deal with salinization or salinization risk in agricultural soils. And we were 20 experts with different backgrounds. There were farmers and advisors, researchers who worked together mainly during 2019. And the results are published in a final report and a fact sheet that you can look up for further detail. So in terms of the process, we started by identifying key issues related to soil salinization. And here I have 6 of those that we identified, and they were measuring, monitoring, and mapping of salt-affected soils. For instance, we identified that the mapping of salt-affected soils in Europe needed to be more accurate. Another key issue is related to the strategies at farm level that actually can prevent, mitigate, or adapt to soil salinization. Another issue is the relation between ecosystem services besides agricultural production and soil salinization. Another issue, the decision support systems for management of these areas. An interesting issue that we identified is the valuable plant qualities that can arise in response to soil or water salinity. And finally, the salt-tolerant crops that can constitute an alternative to farmers in salt-affected areas. So within the group, there was this sharing of knowledge, but we also collected the available knowledge from outside the group, and we developed a set of needs from practice and needs from research related to each of the key issues. So I'm not going to go through all of them. I picked 4 needs from practice and 4 needs from research to highlight here today. So for instance, starting with the needs from practice, we have the fine-tuning of management practices with the monitoring techniques. So this has to do with the techniques that we already have available, how they should constitute a feedback with the management practices, which can only happen in practice. Another is the analysis of the on-site and off-site relations between ecosystem services and salinization. Another one, the increase in the accuracy of decision support models by collecting long-term field data, and test salt-tolerant crops in different contexts and explore market opportunities. If we look at some of the research needs, and this is research that deals to innovation in farming, we have the development of methods to map salt-affected soils using remote sensing together with proximal sensors for more accurate and fast monitoring and mapping. We have a really interesting research topic, which is to identify soil biota, and this is mainly bacteria and fungi that can increase the plant resistance to salinity. And this relation is known to exist, but it's quite site-specific. So there is quite some research that has to be done so that we can take advantage of it. And it can be a really interesting adaptation measure. We also have here to identify environmental and plant genetic factors that can actually confer valuable qualities to some plants. And finally, to profile genetic traits for breeding salt-tolerant crop varieties. So this was just some highlights of the needs from practice and research that we identified. We also collected a set of recommendations that I here divide in technical and societal recommendations. So in the technical side, we have the harmonization of methodologies, monitoring standards, and data sharing schemes, or the exploring of market opportunities for halophytes, that is the salt-tolerant crops, or for crops that can develop special properties when grown under saline conditions. Then on the societal side, it's no surprise to find a recommendation for enlarging collaborations. For instance, the collaboration between farmers and researchers is really important in practices such as monitoring and the improving of advisory services and knowledge transfer and awareness raising on salt-affected soils. As we know, soil salinization is not always present in the discussions, even when soil health is the focus. So just to give you a hint of the most recent developments that can be related to this topic, we have maybe the main one, the new initiative for a global soil salinity map from the Food and Agriculture Organization. This was launched recently, and there is teams in every country that follow a uniform methodology in with the goal of building this new map. And at the European level, also these two initiatives, the soil strategy, which, as you know, is presently under public consultation until the 27th of April, and the proposed mission Caring for Soil is Caring for Life under Horizon Europe. So I thank you very much for your attention, and I'm looking forward to continue this discussion during the breakouts.